Well, at least the main event delivered. I'm John Renton with the retro review of World Class Championship Wrestling Cotton Bowl Extravaganza 2 from October 6, 1985. The rest of the show was boring to kind of shitty, but the worst part of the show was when Fritz Von Erich brought somebody into the Von Erich family that wasn't part of the Von Erich family, and when the fans got wind of it, oh boy, that was one of the big contributing factors to a steep decline in business and eventually the business shutting down. I'm not saying that this lone decision led to everything falling apart, but it was kind of one of the final cracks in the foundation before everything started to go into a goddamn sinkhole. Really, really dumb decision. Really, really dumb decision. And if you know, you know. This can be found in the Classic Wrestling Stuff YouTube channel. There are other full events, or at least as full complete as possible, that are older events I can't wait to dive into on that and other channels. It's really nice because this stuff may not make it to Peacock for a while, if ever. So, they were at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, as opposed to the Cotton Bowl in Vancouver. No disrespect to Vancouver, Washington, or BC, but it would be weird to have a Cotton Bowl there. Anyway, so yeah, 26,000 people were here, up from 12,000 people the previous year, so that was nice. And by next year, they would barely draw 7,000 people there. Not really a good sign. Not really good at all. There were so many factors that led to world class just going down quickly. Despite the talent they had, really, really tragic. So thank fuck Bill Mercer's here, unlike when, Mark Lawrence did the commentary for Parade of Champions 2, Electric Boogaloo. You can check out my rant about that. Nothing against Mark Lawrence, just Bill Mercer was better commentator. Mark Lawrence was a fine ring announcer or, master of ceremonies, whatever. He seemed like a nice guy, and then he did great interview pieces for that world-class documentary before WWE got the tape library. But he was not even an overbearing personality. He was barely personality on camera. But anyway, Mark Lawrence, welcomes us in the ring and brings somebody in called Colleen Stevens, I think. And she's saying, God bless America. I don't know what this was, but this was proof that, well, the music did die. It may have died at some point. Don McLean may have been wrong about when the music died, but the music died here. And this is no disrespect to her as a person, but this was awful. This was fucking terrible. Not even mixing words. Fucking terrible. Anyway, we get to Killer Tim Brooks with Gary Hart. Gary Hart all over this goddamn show. Versus Scott Casey. And, well, it was cool to see Brooks, the man that Keith Lee attributed a lot of his success to because he helped train him. And that was great. That was really good stuff. I don't know why this went so long. And it actually really only went a few minutes, but it just felt like it should have been over in 90 seconds. There was a post spot. Gary Hart basically slammed Scott Casey's shoulder into the post, and then shoulder breaker, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. So Killer Tim Brooks gets the victory. And then we have Kelly Knitsky with his father, Gene Knitsky, in his corner, taking on Tommy Montana. I have no idea who Tommy Montana is. I also have no idea why this match went 10 minutes. No idea. And, and I actually kind of zoned out as far as, like, how long this match went. It just felt like it went 2 or 3 times as long as it needed to. Knitsky should have wiped the floor with the guy. He did beat the shit out of him. I mean, Montana got in a few shots, but it was a double arm plex for 2 and then a backbreaker. I think it was like a second backbreaker he hit, for 3. There we go. Kelly Knitsky gets victory. Anyway, Fantastics, Rogers and Fulton take on John Tatum with Missy Hyatt and Dave Peterson, who I found out died in a motorcycle accident in 1993. He was only 33 years old. That is a damn shame. It happened. Crowd loved the Fantastics. Tatum was fine. He was a fine territorial guy. Missy was a great bitch. She would also leave Tatum for, I believe, Eddie Gilbert sometime after this, or was it around this time, or it was like sometime just shortly after this. Missy Hyatt really was misused in WCW. Missy-used, if you will. No, in all seriousness, I think they really should have used her better as, like the bitch, because she was great in World Class. She was great in Mid-South, UWF, whatever. She did some really good stuff, and she could get a lot of anger from the fans. And she was just that kind of magnet for anger and rage. She really should have been used better by WCW. Anyway, she did some good shouting from ringside. This went way too long. Again, that was a contributing factor to why this show was kind of boring. Eventually, Miss Q, crossbody by Rogers, 1, 2, 3. And then Sunshine, who Missy had beat up recently, is coming out for revenge. She was stopped by one of the referees. And then we get Mark Loom with Gary Hart versus Great Kabuki with Sunshine. I had a couple questions. Why was Great Kabuki a face? Why did Mark Lewin wrestle in white slacks? Why was this match happening? Lewin was not very good. He kept hiding a foreign object really badly that made the referee look stupid. And he kept just hitting Kabuki. Oh, I'm going to stab you, Kabuki. This doesn't look like stabbing at all. The mist is coming from somewhere else. The mist is coming from inside the house. No, anyway. Yeah, Lewin kept using a foreign object. We get wrestles. Gary interferes. We get 2-on-1 on Kabuki. And Scott Casey comes down to rescue Kabuki, who then attacks Casey because Casey hugs Sunshine. Yes, I'm happy that I rescued your guy. No, I'm getting beat up, and he got his nose busted. And he yelled at Kabuki, I better not see you back there. It's not a very big locker room. It's not a very big locker room area that you guys are going to, of course, you're going to see each other. But hey, Scott Casey was fired up. And then we got Brian Diaz versus Jack Victory, NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship. Why in the world did they think that this was a championship caliber, like event, main event, semi-main event, whatever the fuck it was? Some of the stuff could have been taped out of sequence. Dear fucking God. Nothing against either of these guys, but what? This was the depth of the talent roster they had at this point, where Brian Diaz, who I'm sure is a nice guy and I'm sure was a good athlete, was their champion, and Jack Victory, he had a mullet. That was about it. And then spinning toe hold, and Jack Victory passes out from the pain and gets the victory. On Jack Victory, if you will. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of, really puns or plays on words to say because there really wasn't all that much to this. And then we get Iceman King Parsons with Kerry Von Erich as his second versus One Man Gang with Gary Hart. Again, Gary Hart all over this goddamn show. I like Gary Hart, though. One of the greatest wrestling managers of all time. Tape this match for the NWA American Heavyweight Championship. 10 3-minute rounds. And it was at this point where I said, if they even go a third of that, I'm going to be so disappointed. One Man Gang could not wrestle long matches, but he's a great monster heel. And Iceman King Parsons, I don't know why they turned him heel at one point. It was after this, but wasn't a great idea. It wasn't good. It wasn't. Tape fist match, so they were doing the boxing thing. And both these guys get hit pretty damn hard. But these matches shouldn't go long. Kerry and Gary brawl. That Kerry and Gary sounds like some bad Texas, Walker, Texas Ranger knockoff thing. And then Gang tumbles outside after a punch from Parsons and gets, counted out. And there you go. So Parsons retains. The Iceman Parsons Project. There we go. That should be a title for one of these reviews. And then Mike Von Erich returns from, just a month after his, nearly dying in the hospital and everything. And you could tell he just wasn't the same. I mean, granted, after all the shit he had to go through, who would be the same after that? It's a miracle that he even came back. He's only back for a year. Like, really, really tragic what happened to the Von Erichs. And Gino. And so many other, dear God, so many others. But anyway, he was like, oh yeah, I'll be back in the ring. Fritz was like, yeah, he'll be back in the ring. God, Fritz, you pushed your kids too goddamn hard. You really did. I understand why, but he pushed them too hard. And then Fritz introduces Lance Von Erich, who Kevin Vaughn, I think, was his actual name, or at least his stage name. Maybe not his Christian name. I don't know. Maybe he's Catholic. I don't know. Pretty Catholic area there in Dallas. Nothing against religion, but I'm just trying to go through this stuff because I'm trying to figure out why the fuck they thought Lance Von Erich was a good idea. Nothing against the guy. He was a good athlete. You could tell right there he's a deer in the goddamn headlights. Not like the late, great Jimmy Crockett, that is. Jim Crockett Jr., I mean, he never belonged on camera, but hell of a promoter and sorely missed. But Lance Von Erich is just there. He has no idea what he's doing. None. He's totally uncomfortable on camera. Doesn't have a goddamn clue what he's doing. This did not work. It was fucking stupid. Fritz Von Erich was, I'm sorry to say, he's an idiot for doing this. I know he's long since passed. Terrible that he died of brain cancer. He wasn't the same guy when he passed away. Nobody would be when your brain goes. But Lance Von Erich, if they had just said, hey, he's going to help out the Von Erichs, but he's not a Von Erich, fine. They didn't do that. And it was dumb. It was really goddamn dumb. I mean, whoever thought, whoever, suggested this to Fritz, or whoever did not tell Fritz, hey, this is stupid. And I mean, I'm sure the kids did, but if somebody else in his inner circle didn't say, Fritz, don't do this. Don't piss off the fans. We've already had enough tragedy. We've already had enough people questioning things. The fans are still with us. Don't do this. He did it. it ruined the kid's career, or the guy's career. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a kid, but it ruined his career. I don't know what else he did after this. And all it did I think they drew like 24,000 people to the next Parade of Champions. That was like May of 86. And then by October of 86, for the Cotton Bowl, 7,000 people. They were barely drawing people in the Sportatorium. Crowds were shrinking. They couldn't draw anywhere. They could draw a little bit in Dallas. The Von Erichs were still somewhat appreciated, but it took a lot of the steam that the fans had, a lot of fire that the fans had to want to see the Von Erichs succeed, that they lied. That's the one thing you can't do. You can't lie to the fans. And looking at this and just looking at the fallout, you can see this is the big reason why World Class went down. It's not even Kevin Vaughn's fault. All on Fritz. All on Fritz and whoever did not talk him out of it. God damn. Just so stupid. One of the worst decisions in World Class history. Honestly, so fun. Besides maybe not taking the territory out of Texas and touring. Even if you just toured around Kansas and, maybe stay out of the Mid-South territory, even though I think they probably could have taken some of that. But seriously, go to New Mexico, go to some areas. I think they could have drawn pretty well. Yeah, Lance Von Erich. Bad idea. And he was also there at ringside for Kerry and Kevin versus Gino and Chris. Hair versus hair match. Well, Gino and Chris is a dynamic duo. They've been clipping out pieces of, Babyface's hairs. They've been clipping a piece of their hair out. Not that I'd have any hair if I was ever a wrestler. Dear God, if I was ever a wrestler. The business is fucked because I'm not athletic at all. But they're clipping out hair and putting it in the book. And now this is the ultimate revenge. All the Babyfaces are around ringside in the, on the face side. And then there are heels out there like John Tatum. And John Tatum was one of the only people out there. There were other heels out there. But anyway. So there's a lot of handsome hair out there, says Bill Mercer. It was well paced. These guys worked well together. Did some good hard shots. They got powder into Kerry's eyes. Lance Von Erich pours water in Kerry's eyes and, helps clear that up. Then a powder miscue and roll up by Kerry on Chris 1, 2, 3. Chris gets his head shaved. I think they get it to where it's like a skullet. And then, and that was really kind of cool. They took a piece of hair, like all the people that, whose hair they cut. They all got a shot in Scott Casey, Iceman King Parsons, all that. So then they shaved Gino's hair and it was like a mohawk thing. And the sad thing is Gino would be dead 4 months after this? Less than 4 months? I think it was beginning of February, but he'd been dead since maybe the very end of January. Just really, really sad stuff. But yeah, that was really it right there. There wasn't a whole lot to this show, but it was kind of good to rant about a little bit of it. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Charm Ritlin. I'll see you soon.